We're actually changing the podcast.
Die of AIDS in an alleyway. I'm alright, bro.
Hi everyone, welcome back to TVI episode 247.
Easy there.
Guest Mark Simmons, welcome to the studio. Welcome to our lovely
Big up.
Look at this.
It's beautiful.
It's nice colours, isn't
It's
it?
a new studio.
We've gone for a sort of
Hardest working comedian.
gone for a sort of brothel vibes colour scheme.
Yeah, mate, love it.
So,
Makes
do
me
you
feel
like
at
prostitutes? No.
Yes. I had a prostitute
I like
joke.
them as people.
Would you like to hear my prostitute
Go
joke?
for
I
it.
think it's a... You can't say prostitute. You're meant to say sex worker
Sex
now, aren't you?
worker. But
So,
we're old school.
We're old school.
We say brass.
We say hooer.
I said...
Hooer.
So I met a sex worker. She
Yeah.
said, would you like a hand job? I said, how much would that be? She said, roughly 50 quid. I was like, and gently?
Roughly
Yes,
50 quid.
yes,
Yeah,
yes,
yeah, yeah.
yes.
Can we edit the pause so it's longer,
Yeah.
if possible?
Anyway,
Roughly 50 quid and
we're back.
softly 20.
really rough.
And
Shut your tongue. Rip the head off for 100.
something like their balls trod on and shit, though, man.
I know, man.
I ain't about that
Some,
life,
yeah,
man.
some, man.
Really?
some.
Yeah, mate of mine. Yeah, well into
You
that.
wouldn't know him. He goes to a different school.
No, you don't live around here. No, you don't know him. You don't know him.
But yeah, I mean, all that. I mean, I'm not into any. We talked before
Yeah,
about
right.
sort of the most vanilla, sexually the most
You
vanilla.
are.
Just not. I don't like weird stuff, man.
No, I
Other
don't.
people,
Only
I respect
white ladies.
other people. That sounds worse than it is. It happens to be both my previous wives.
Yeah, I only
previous
sleep
wives, my
with
current
whites.
wife, previous wife, and all my partners have been white. That's just been.
Have you ever slept with a person of
Let me think.
colour?
No, I don't know if I have. You know,
No.
off the top
You
of
ain't
my head.
about that.
Well, I didn't want my dad to find out.
That ain't a bit of me now.
Now he's dead. I'm gonna start
Mark.
slinging it around everywhere. No,
Mark
but,
has, I bet.
I've had
Mark's like Eminem.
a couple, yeah.
yeah,
Have
quite.
you,
You
yeah.
got quite a varied sort of
Yeah.
palette.
The full spectrum of the Dulux chart.
What about you? Seeing as this is the starting conversation.
Don't ask me
The
personal
racial
questions, thank you.
profiling of your sexual partners. I have kissed, but I'm trying to think. I feel if I've actually ever had full sex.
Naked sex.
Full naked.
In
as
a
the day you
barn.
were born sex.
So they all strictly English. They've all been...
No. You
No.
know, but just in terms of
Oh, yeah, because it's Australian.
the sort of racial makeup. Yes, I mean, it's problematic. That's what I'm saying. The Rolodex. Yeah. What was yours?
I'm pretty
sorry?
sure I've only slept with English white girls.
That's even worse than mine.
Is that
now.
true?
At least I've
Yeah.
spread mine around.
Really?
different
I'm pretty sure.
continents.
I've
If
slept
England,
with hardly-
sorry, the UK.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure.
I'm the
Someone's going to
opposite.
DM and go, excuse me, you forgot about me.
I worked in a university for sort of 12 years, so
For the pussy, yeah.
there, so there's a lot of different people coming through. So,
Yeah.
So yeah.
No, yeah. A lot of different.
Yeah.
That sounded like
You were what were you working there as? A
So-
voluntary
a
PE
creepy
teacher,
lecturer.
a lecturer.
letterer.
Yes. Okay.
What
How old were you
university?
then?
Kent University.
How old were you?
As soon as I left uni, I worked
Okay,
there.
so it wasn't like-
in the sports department in the gym.
Yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
of course.
yeah.
Like Larry Nasser. Have you seen it? Athlete A.
Oh man, he's a
Oh,
gymnast.
He's a good guy, man. You should watch it, yeah.
Anyway, so welcome back. We've just both been at Fringe.
Yeah. Is this your
It's-
first one back since then?
First one in the studio back. Because what date is it? We got back. What date did you come back from the Fringe? I got back
On the
last
Saturday.
Tuesday. Oh, so you
I-
left early?
Yeah, I always go to Wembley Stadium to watch the wrestling on the Sunday.
nice.
That's my little
Yeah.
Right.
tradition.
That is so crazy to me.
What's that?
There'll be like Sean's into it as well.
Yeah, wrestling. I love
A
it.
lot of adults are.
A lot of grown-ups are.
I just don't
Talk to us
understand.
about this. Yeah, because I'm not into it, but I do
Oh,
know
this
a
is-
lot of. Just to clarify for everyone, Julian is ill at the minute.
Yeah. I'm on antibiotics though, so I'm gonna get savage again, man.
Yeah.
Getting back
If
in
you've not been to
again.
the gym.
No, I haven't been able to.
I
man,
thought you'd
for
be really
weeks.
into wrestlers and stuff. You're really into.
I like their physiques.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Let's
appreciate.
looking at their physique.
I mean, they're all
You'd
on
like
roids,
to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of
of course.
but fair enough.
As are you.
Yeah, I'm thinking about it, but we've got the UFC to see who the best fighters are.
Yeah.
We've got that. Like instead of, it's like saying I'm really into boxing. I really rate Rocky Balboa.
Yeah. That's what
That's what it feels like.
That's my thing.
But no, but this is it's an ideal point you've made.
Thank you.
Rocky's a brilliant film.
Yeah, but I
It's
suppose what it is
drama.
I split. I have that weird thing in my mind of splitting sports, entertainment, literature. Yeah, I like to categorize all my stuff. Maybe it's a sort of mental
So
thing.
it's not
I've
sport,
got.
it's entertainment.
Well, that's what I mean, and I don't find it that. I don't find it entertaining enough to watch as entertainment. So I can't. And I don't
Have you
appreciate
given
the
it
sport
much time?
Well, I was into it when I was a kid.
you were?
I was massively into it from like
Then
the
got
Hulk
older,
Hogan, the Hulk Hogan Ultimate Warrior days.
Yeah.
Then he turned
The
12.
Legion of Doom. They were like,
Yeah.
that was my first era. And then I got back into it during the whole Triple H, The Rock.
The Attitude Era.
Yeah, that era was amazing. And
Yeah.
Mankind, Mick Foley. all
Yeah,
that.
so you.
But then that was like a very brief period when I was just hitting adulthood.
Yeah.
And then I just stopped caring about it because I got into boxing and other things.
Yeah.
I find Brock Lesnar a really interesting human being.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Massive. What a massive
he's
man
a
he is.
huge giant, and he just absolutely doesn't give a fuck. Like, he's just got so much kind of, I don't know, there's something about him that's interesting.
He's like an incredible fighter. Obviously.
I mean, he won
and
the UFC belt, and like for someone,
Twice.
he couldn't really take a punch on the face. Like, he got a bit exposed, but for someone to just come in and just 3 fights, they're the champion.
He's also a really underrated wrestler.
Well, he was a an actual wrestler.
Yeah. But as a professional wrestler, he's one of the best. Like his selling ability to look like he's in trouble for someone that size.
Yeah.
To be believable that he's hurt is amazing.
They're
Like,
basically stuntmen, aren't they?
Yeah.
You're going to watch loads of men do stunts in their
And women.
pants. What's
And
going
women.
on? Is everything all right at home?
There's women as well.
Actually, I've seen some of that. They are fit.
Oh, yeah. I don't really look at women like
Physically fit.
Yeah. But they're really good now. Like, I know that sounds bad, but in the old days, they were almost like a novelty.
Yeah.
But now they're proper wrestlers.
What was the one? I remember when it was the Hardy Boys and Lita.
Yeah,
I remember
yeah.
Lita was
She
good.
showed
She
up
did
recently.
flips. She was good at flips.
There's a couple of
as were the
twins
Hardy
that do it,
Boys.
isn't there? There's a couple of twins.
Oh, yeah, the
Lady
Bellas.
twins.
The Bellas.
The Bella twins.
The
yeah.
Bella
Do
twins.
you remember the Funhouse twins? Pat
Oh, yeah.
Sharp.
Yeah.
Oh,
You're
yeah.
damn right, I remember that.
Do I?
Do I? Wish I could forget them.
But yeah, so you went to the wrestling on the Sunday.
Yeah.
And you've been that was now almost 2 weeks ago. You've just
Yeah.
been chilling since.
I've been chilling. I did one gig for James Alderson.
Takes a bit of
He's
recovery,
outdoor.
Edinburgh, doesn't it? More than you
Yeah.
realise.
You need to have like
It's
a 2-week
intense.
holiday on a beach.
I was just saying to Carl, I was going to do that, and then I was getting stressed out trying to organise it. I was like, I don't want to be stressed, so I just didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But I just
Get
haven't-
some Sheila to do it for you.
Yeah.
You just have a wife.
Yeah.
No, but because we didn't do a holiday, like my wife was going back to work pretty much straight away. But just having a bit, like I went back to gigging way too quick. I got back on the Tuesday and I did my first gig on the Thursday. And I just felt like me and Alexander Bennett were there and we both were chatting to each other like we shouldn't be here. We were both out of it.
Yeah.
Like,
See, it's an
didn't feel
interesting
right.
thing.
It's like
'cause
we had jet lagged or
Did you
something.
go back and do the Glees straight away?
No. I just did 99 clubs over
least
the
you're
week and a
London home.
banana.
I think there's two ways of looking at it. When you leave Edinburgh, I feel like you're the sharpest you'll be because
But
you're match
I
fit.
think stylistically it's different though. Like I feel super sharp, but not at a 20-minute club set.
Right.
I feel sharp at an hour, man. I could do an hour in my sleep, man. But I think there's that different pace of set.
Yeah.
Whereas
so my club set's similar to my. It's a similar style.
Yeah,
Same
of course.
length, yeah.
And like for me, it's like
Yours is. Your fringe show's 17 minutes long.
I did a 34 one once.
Oh
actually,
man,
but-
the shortest I heard this
Oh,
year.
really?
I think the shortest I heard this year was maybe a 36. I know somebody did a 36.
I
so-
think
As
mine
in
was
every day?
36.
as in every
No,
day.
no. It's just a particularly
one
bad
off.
one. Walked
God.
Yeah,
off.
that's all right.
I'm
There's
sure I
something-
must have said it on here before about the year Stefano Paolini
I had a.
did his
Oh, did he
debut.
do? I was with him the other
and
day.
I was up. This is before I'd ever. I think it might have been. It was 2006 maybe actually when I was doing 2 weeks on the Free Fringe. Really new. Like do 2 weeks with Sean James and Chris Martin, and me and Sean went to watch Steph's show, and that was a decent show. We had a decent day. It weren't a killer.
Yeah.
But you know, he came in at like I'm sure it was like 50 minutes, like, and that was a good one, right?
Yeah.
He was having a bit of a rough time, and chatting to him afterwards, he was like, yeah, one day I was literally at the bar in the Pleasance Courtyard and like having a drink, and I looked at my watch and I still had 15 minutes left on my show. Like real just, you know, if you're having a tough run, man.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
never
Now
been
it's a
back.
long
I think
time,
that
though.
Really?
He's never been back. I think, you know, he's now sort of back gigging a lot and getting back into it. I'd like him to go, like, you know, to
Go back
feel
up.
confident to go back up.
Edinburgh's great. Just do the free fringe. Have a nice month.
I know. That's what
Like,
we were
'cause
chatting
he's
about. You
such a
should
good
go up
act.
next year, man. Just do a week
Just
or
do
something.
free fringe.
Your favourite act, yeah.
Me? Yeah.
You
you're
heard
my-
what I said.
Yeah. No, you know I love you.
What do you?
But
Free
I had
fringe.
this year,
But
talking
it's-
about
it's
time,
easy,
sorry.
It's easy said like that. Like, just do the free fringe. It'd be fun. It's not fun to me. It's like I'm away from my kids. I'm away from home.
That's why you just do a few nights.
I'm in a room in Edinburgh.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah.
if you don't like
this-
it, then don't
Bring
do
the
it.
family up. Dude, that's what I had the best month.
And I want you to argue it.
Oh, sorry. You should definitely come
No,
up.
but I did it as a family, and it was the most fun,
Yeah.
easy-going Edinburgh I've ever had.
Yeah, yeah.
I loved it. It was so just nice, taking my daughter to shows, then
Mm.
going and doing my gig in the evening.
This year, I decided not to do anything else other than my show, and it's the best year I've had.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, luckily I've been up so many years that I get audience.
You've
So-
got it
so I don't-
dialed in, haven't you?
I don't
Both
have
of
to.
you, yeah.
I don't have to go and do spots.
Yeah.
So I was like, why am I doing that?
Yeah.
And I went to watch shows. I saw your show. It's fucking,
yeah.
it's brilliant. It's really good.
Didn't
Such a
you
nice
like it?
time.
No, why'd you
I
win?
did. I
What's the
I
face
tweeted
about?
a nice story.
It was
Oh,
nice.
did
it was
you?
a nice.
Yeah, it was really good.
Thank you. Yeah, it was a nice show.
I think I
But,
said, what did I say?
Did
I
you
think
go
I
to
said,
Mark's
the
show,
best
Carl?
storyteller of our
I
generation?
think you said that. Thank you. Good quote.
I think I couldn't think of any others.
Yeah. No one really does stories anymore. The only storyteller
That's
of our
what I meant to
generation. Yeah. But no, it's nice, man.
Typo.
You can do it quite wholesome and nice now without it being too
I
stressful.
had a nice time living with
that's
Math
great.
Brown. We did the month, and like, you know, the first couple of days I was nervous though, man. And then when you get into the flow of it, you're like,
Great.
it's just I've been doing I'll do stand up like
Yeah.
all year anyway.
Yeah.
Is this
Oh
your
yeah, it's
debut?
just stand up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Is that your debut?
No, it's a second hour.
Oh, you did too? Have you done two?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
I'm very prolific, man. What,
When was the last time you went up?
2001. No, really. That must have been 18, maybe. That was
Yeah,
18.
2018, yeah.
Yeah. I did
So you
an
got-
hour.
So when did you do your debut? What year?
2 years before that, maybe, or
Okay.
3.
Just go up and do a best of. Just have a really
what I do
good
every
time.
year.
I know.
I've not got a medium of. No, I will. I'll tell you what I'm going to start doing is hitting up an open mic night once a week and just getting up with no material. I did it
You've
before.
said this to me for 3 years. You've said
Yeah,
this
I
exact
did it-
sentence
You can't
to
do that
me.
doing your style of comedy, our style of comedy,
Yeah,
as
but-
in jokes. You can't just go up with nothing. You have to go
Some
up
of
with
us
some.
can, Mark. But no,
Go
really.
on now. Go.
Knock. Yeah, but not necessarily. It's not going to be joke. It's just going to be. I've got bits out of doing that.
Yeah.
Getting
there
on
is that. And
stage.
also
Really?
do some. I mean, you've got some great stories. You should go on and just tell the stories.
That's what I mean.
Oh,
That's
And
right.
what
see,
I mean.
and
Yeah.
where the laughs are, you reverse write it, don't you?
Yeah.
Come back and find the jokes in it, which is what
Yeah.
I sort of do. But I do it where I just go up and tell a story from scratch without any planning. Just tell it from memory.
Yeah.
And then what I find en route, where that will be where I need to put a bit and that bit, and you sort of build it from scratch.
When I watch you do your hours, it feels like you probably
Two.
don't have to stress too much about the hour. I feel like you're so relaxed and it all seems so natural, which it probably isn't. As in,
It
it's a
still
lot of work.
takes proper work, but it just
Yeah.
I purposely make it look like I've
Yeah,
just walked
so
on and started
good.
chatting, and then it ends.
Yeah.
That's the
But
and
do
that's-
you stress out in the
Well,
in
I'm
the
not a
year
stressy
of-
person, but I do work on it, and I constantly
Yeah.
am thinking about it, and like, you know, it is a constant background noise,
Mm.
and then I work on it, and then do the previews, and then it's a process. But
So if you
in
start-
that process, I'm not that stressed either.
Was your first hour the most stressful?
I think it always is for everyone, isn't it? Because that's the one you put the most pressure on.
Yeah, I was hanging out with a few people in Edinburgh this year that were doing their first hours.
Yeah.
And yeah,
What,
it's
young new comics?
No, they're sort of similar age, but they're
yeah.
new in comedy terms.
Yeah.
And they were tense.
Yeah.
And I was so relaxed. It was a weird.
I was also hanging out a lot with Jack Skipper.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
Jack was doing
He
his
had a good
debut,
year.
and he got nominated, and his show was great. I saw his extra show. We clashed at our normal one, but I saw
Mm.
his extra show, and he was killing it, man, selling out. But even he, like that first week, you know, he was finding it very stressful. He had one gig that was a bit tricky. He was reading reviews, and And Jason's trying to get your attention. Oh, you keep turning away from the cameras, mate. Oh,
Yeah, professional.
And yeah, like, you know, he was putting a lot of pressure on himself, and then because he was reading reviews, he got a really good review to start off in the first few days, and then he got one that it was. I mean, it was a 3-star, and but he told me some of the quotes from it because he was reading it, and like they just got in his head because they were a bit diggy. And you know, it's that thing of just saying to him, man, you've sold out all your shows, you're having a great run, your show's funny, man. Just think about that, focus on that, and then he just chilled out, and then the rest of the festival, we had a really just nice time.
I think the acceptance of it's going to be a bit up and down.
You're going to have down points.
It's a big part of it, isn't it?
Like, he had one show that was really tricky. He said it was just like really hard. And I think there's something to be said for that as a learning thing of like, once you've struggled for an hour, man, that's a different beast. Like, it makes gigs easier, innit?
I had one that was brutal, just from the first 3 minutes, you know it's going to be hard. And there was just a drip of sweat go down my back.
Man.
But it's that thing of having done it a lot, you know that sometimes those gigs, when you leave, people come out, they've had a really nice time.
That's the weird. That's the thing. You never prepare yourself for that until you've gone through it as well. Like the ones where you think it's a Wednesday, it's a bit rainy out, everyone's a bit fucking sweaty and like steamy when they get in, and you just go on and it's just tepid, man. They're all just like smiling. You come off thinking that was a death, and you get the most people afterwards saying, I really enjoyed that. You get loads of messages going, I love that, mate. And
keep trying.
Yeah.
But so brave.
Thanks for letting me dry off for an hour. But they're always the
that's
ones.
why you really shouldn't ever tell them that they're bad, because they don't know they are
unless it's
you tell them.
something so obvious in the room.
Undeniable.
I had to on my last show. So I had such a nice run, no dickheads the whole run, right? And the second to last night, the Saturday, I had two guys who were off their face, right? Just proper but they weren't problematic.
Coked up.
I don't know what. I think they were on something else, because basically I was like 20 minutes in and I was having a crack. It was like one of my favourite ones. And then just this guy got off and just walked, and he was in the corner this side. He had to walk across the stage to get out, and he was walking across. He wouldn't make eye contact. He looked all awkward like that. And I sort of made a joke and was like, "Oh mate," I said, "Are you toilet or just done like that?" And he didn't say anything, didn't answer. And I went, "Look, man, whatever it is, like, no judgment. Just see yourself out. It's cool, man. Thanks for coming." And then the door was really loud. He was struggling with the door. And I made a joke then of like, "Oh, that's it, mate. Can you make a bit more noise over in the corner?" Everyone laughed. He left. 2 or 3 minutes later, his mate who was with stood up and did the same thing, but then had a dig at me on the way out. I think he thought I was taking a piss out of his mate.
Right.
So I think basically they were both off their nut and made the decision, we need to go, but we need to stagger it. But then, because I'd sort of made a joke about his mate, he got a bit funny.
He was on the defensive when he stood up.
Yeah, but it was fine. But they left. There was no problem whatsoever. Carried on with the show. Great, right? So I was like, all right, that's lucky. There are only 2 walkouts I've had all month, right? And they were obviously just... I chatted to some people afterwards who were sat near him and were like, they were on something, man. They just seemed so weird. And then final night, lovely Sunday. It was only half full. It was like a quieter one. And then there was just, from the word go, there was 2 guys in the front, just wankers. Proper wankers, and like wouldn't stop interrupting. Just for about first 5 minutes, everything I said they just pitched in, and I'd sort of said, "Look, guys, come on, man, it's the last Sunday of the Fringe, just chilled in here. It's not a Saturday night. I said, let me just get on with the show and it'll be fun." All right, Bob, sorry, Bob. And then I'd start talking about, fucking it. I was like, oh man, and I'd 5 minutes out, I stopped the show and I was like, look, this can't happen, mate. I'm not doing my last show with you just shouting all the time. I went, you either shut your mouth and don't say anything for the rest of the show. I said, just keep don't say any more words. I said, if you say one more thing, you're out, like that. Yeah. No, I didn't say it in a rude way. I was like, but I said to everyone, look, everyone else wants you gone, but I'm actually going to give you the chance to stay if you just don't say another word. He was like, "Oh, mate, honestly, he pulled his t-shirt up like that." Oh god! And I started 2 minutes later.
It
yeah, mate, off his nut. 2 minutes later, I'm talking, and he leans over to his mate, and I went, "No, man, that counts as talking." I went, "You got to go." And he was like, "Oh no, come on, I can't even book." And I was like, "No, man, you got to go." Everyone's and the whole crowd started going, "Just fuck off," like that. Oh, yeah. And both of him and his mate
stressing
got up.
me out. His
mate
ignorant
his
cunt.
mate apologised. His mate apologised as they walked out. He was just a bit shitty, but then walked out. And that was like 7 minutes in now. Just reset the gig.
Yeah.
I went, right, let's do it, and it ended up being an absolute belter. But like, I've not had any cunts apart from them last 2 days.
They like you because you sorted the issue.
Yes,
I think. Yeah. And also they felt sorry for you, but you had to do that.
Yeah, because of the material.
That's how you look.
Because you're a little willy bulge. Grey tracksuit bottoms.
But yeah, like it was so weird that I just had such a dream run, and then them last two were just such a
Do you
weird.
ever have many babies come to see your kid?
I had two babies over the run.
Yeah,
One that made a lot of noise, and the mum. But we discussed it early doors. The mum took her out. Took him out actually a couple of
Gone
times.
fostered and come back.
Other one, baby didn't make it. Like the baby came in, woke up just as they were coming in. The baby was asleep outside,
Yeah.
and I went, look, it's going to be fine. Any problems, there's a little gap around there. You can go, or you can go over there. And then came in. I went, stay asleep, and they were like, no, it woke up just a second ago, and they were all worried.
Yeah.
I started talking. The baby just went to sleep for
Obviously.
an hour.
Yeah, with the audience.
Didn't make a noise.
Who got in trouble
Brilliant.
a couple of years ago for kicking a baby out?
Fordy in
Oh.
Edinburgh,
Oh, really?
yeah.
and Arj Barker
Yeah, I was
in
gonna say,
Australia
like-
this year.
Yeah,
okay.
Arch Barker had the massive. It was huge news.
But Arj's was very different to Fordy's. I think Fordy, it had become apparent like. and
40 was kind of
it was-
reasonable, I think.
It was reasonable,
Yeah.
but said like was getting to the point where it's a bit distracting for everyone around. So maybe just like if you like, and actually the person left, but then I think the mum maybe had a little issue with it, and it caused a bit of an
Hormones.
online-y thing.
Right.
Whereas
yeah,
Arj apparently like I think he got into a bit more of a
yeah.
head to head with the lady,
Yeah.
and but when he came out afterwards, he explained it was literally like this person would not accept their baby was.
Ruining for
was
everyone else.
interrupting the show for
Yeah,
others
yeah.
around,
Yeah. So I've had babies in, but they tend to go at the back, and then so they can get in and out.
Yeah,
easily,
yeah,
So
yeah.
it's fine. But yeah, I had a really nice heckle from a baby. It was like I was just.
Oh, shit.
I said it was perfect timing. I said something in my set about a heckle, and then the baby went, and it just got this biggest reaction of the whole show.
Yeah.
It was so
That's
good.
funny.
Did you get security immediately?
Yeah.
Get out.
Code word. Have you ever had somebody heckle and you look round and they keep disturbing you? Like you go to address it and they're like disabled. Have you ever had that? And they can't help making noise.
Yeah. On my tour, actually no, in Edinburgh, I don't actually know what.
Yeah.
They're right at the back. And,
Yeah.
Initially,
you
I
pick them,
made a little comment, and then I picked up
Put them in
on.
a disabled seat, yeah.
Yeah. I made a
Like a disabled cage at the back.
Just hanging from the ceiling.
So
Yeah, like I made a comment there initially, like you would with any interruption.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
I quickly
That's-
realised, and then every time there was a noise, it was disturbing, but everyone knew the situation. I think so. It was fine.
I've always found that they've got really good sense of humour as well. Like, when they're...
I don't know why it sounds
Yeah,
patronising.
I know.
Very humorous people, aren't they?
Can you believe
I
it?
do find their turbulent life has given them great sense of humour.
They've got great rhythm, haven't they? They're a cool bunch of people.
Yeah.
But I don't know, like everyone tenses up, but then like you have a little, I don't know.
Well, I think it's as long as everyone's aware, and it's that thing of it's the worst thing is when a comic isn't aware. And I've definitely told the story here, but I was quickly.
They're in the dark
when,
or something, and
I
you
did
can't see.
When I was quite new, and I did a gig, and do you remember Amadeus? I don't think he gigs
yeah.
anymore.
Oh,
He
yeah.
looked like Trevor, the DJ.
Trevor Nelson.
Yeah.
He did mention that on stage. That
Yeah.
wasn't-
He looked like Bob Marley. No, he did look like Trevor Nelson.
Looked loads
didn't
like Trevor Nelson, but he had just we did a gig once, and there was somebody with cerebral palsy in this in the mid, like just sort of halfway back to the right, and they were just like quite verbal.
Ain't a name on
And-
telly tonight.
And basically, everyone was totally fine with it. Audience, everyone there was no distraction because everyone was from the word go was aware that this person was making some noises. But Amadeus showed up late, and we forgot to tell him. And he's on stage, and like after a punchline, the person made a noise that he took as somebody taking the piss out of him. So he got a little bit like, "What was that?" And then he carried on. It happened again, and he went, "Seriously, man!" And he went, "Seriously, is somebody taking the fucking piss out of me like that?" And the whole crowd just went, "Oh!" And we're in the green room like, "Oh no!" And needless to say, did not have a great gig in the middle.
Oh no, that's
Poor
so
guy. We should
funny.
have just given him a heads up, but it's what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah,
But I find sometimes I've made gigs weird where, like, because the lights are bright and they don't know the lights are bright, so you just see an outline, and I'll do like. Sometimes I sort of go from person to person, getting the topic and things, and I'll sort of say, "What about you, mate?" And then it's a woman, but I don't realise it's a woman. And
Yeah.
that makes the whole gig really
You need to ambiguous. Like mate's all right though.
I
to
think
say
mate
to a
is.
woman.
Yeah, but
It's more like a male
Yeah.
address. Though, innit?
Geese. If you say geese.
Yeah.
All right, geese.
Yeah. Say geezer. Say
No.
fella.
Yeah.
What about if they're non-binary, Mark? How do you deal with that in this climate?
Tell them to get out. Pick a side and fuck off. No. But they will clarify.
that's never
Enough
cut.
cosplay.
Well, no, people will clarify if you. I think if you
Yeah.
get it wrong,
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think that's
yeah.
fine. Then you just go.
But if they're non-binary, I think you can call them mate. It's fine.
Mate is absolutely
Yeah.
fine.
So
yeah.
It's my
it's never
go-to
been.
for
It's never
non-binary
been.
people.
Yeah, it's never been an
Yeah,
issue.
yeah.
So, but my
Yeah.
mate, I say mate to everyone. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
so when I say mate, I'm not. I don't think mine is. It's not a gendered phrase
yeah,
for me.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just a background sort of.
I say guys as a
Yeah, of course.
as a neutral.
And I think that's been quite standard for about 10 years
Guys,
now.
Yeah.
yeah.
How you doing, guys?
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Say slags.
But yeah.
I once started a gig when I was brand new, and I think I was really into Mighty Boosh, and I'd seen sort of Noel Fielding come out and go something like, "All right, you cheeky bitches," and stuff like that. And I came out to a gig, I went,
God.
"All right, motherfuckers," like that, and it was
Oh.
like complete silence.
Yeah. I mean, it doesn't
So
suit
dead.
your vibe.
No,
does
it doesn't.
But so
You could do something like that now, though, that they know you.
I think,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
But if
Yeah,
you're coming
yeah,
out
yeah.
like
If they've
that,
got an idea of
it's
you.
a totally different character they're
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
All right, motherfuckers.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit. Chris Rock's here.
Who is it? We always used to joke about just walking out and going, "All right, cunts," like that, which
Yeah,
is
yeah.
funny. And
Yeah,
I've seen
yeah.
people do it like a few times as a joke. But like, do you know who used to do it? It was Ray Peacock.
He was a
Ian
good MC,
Boldsworth.
wasn't he?
Yeah. He used to do it.
Really?
But
I've seen him for years, man.
let's quickly before we start. We do need to do some questions. But before we do, we were talking just before we hit record about how yesterday we mentioned at the end of the last episode on the Patreon section about this week I was having a colonoscopy and endoscopy,
Oh, yes.
same session. Did
Well,
it
hang on,
yesterday?
an endoscopy as
So
well.
I had yesterday 1:30 p.m. I had a endoscopy,
yeah.
and that one first. The moment
Yeah.
that finished, up the batty
It's
old
like a threesome.
colonoscopy, I got spit roasted, but not at the same time. They took
Yeah.
turns on me. It was a casting couch.
Oh wow! What was the worst
Did
one?
you get the gig?
Do you know what?
My-
This is
I
the
w-
most mental thing because you told me you've had a colonoscopy.
I have.
Right. So here.
I
So,
told you to not tell anyone.
um,
No, this is secret. This is secret, obviously.
so chatting to the doctors before, I've had a colonoscopy. No, I've had a gastroscopy before. I've had one awake, one when
That's
they
in the
knocked me
mouth.
out, right in the mouth, yeah. And the one I had awake was when I was really ill 20 years ago, and I was so out of it. I'd lost loads of blood. It was like emergency.
Oh, right.
So I was so out of it. I remember it being super traumatic, but I think it was loads of other factors.
Yeah.
So yesterday, when I opted to not have any sedation, I said I don't want any sedation.
Really? Yeah.
I said
I
just
just want to wank.
I want to remember it going down my throat.
Oh, yeah.
I want to just feel every
You
second.
put clamps on my
Every inch.
nipples.
Oh man! Can you speak? Yeah. Can you,
You
shake
hold
your
my
head down?
nose and
Yeah,
put
yeah.
your hand over my mouth.
But they told me
Just help.
they kept saying like it's going to be pretty tricky, you know.
Yeah.
It's really, and they said this is one is much harder than the colonoscopy.
Yeah. With that one, what is it actually looking at when it goes in?
That goes into your actual stomach. So the
from
colonoscopy.
from the
that
top.
goes. Oh, okay.
And the
Sorry,
other
yeah.
one comes from the bottom.
Yeah, the other one. So basically, and here's the funny thing: very different thicknesses, right? When they said, because I said I'd had one of them.
You can choose
I
different
said-
ones.
I picked
You bring
the-
your own.
I picked the 2-inch diameter, the radius. Have you got a bigger one?
Floor standing fucking
One's
bazooka.
top shape. No, but so basically they said, "Oh, I've had one awake 20 years ago," and they went,
Yeah.
"Oh, the cameras have got much smaller since then, so it shouldn't be as traumatic as that one."
what
But
they
she
do
said it
with
is difficult. I went, "All right," and I went in, and you have to lie on your side, and then they pulled the fucking camera out, and it's the one that goes down your throat, and it is
It's a
still
Panasonic.
It's about, I'd say it's about 12 mil, over a centimeter,
Oh, right.
which is like that thick going down your throat,
Yeah.
right? And
It's too much.
yeah, it's too big, and basically they sort of they spray your throat with like a numbing spray. And you have to swallow it, and they try and basically just numb that section a bit.
Oh, wow.
And then they put literally like a thing to hold your mouth open, man. Probably clamp your mouth open.
Oh my God.
And then they went, right, this first bit's going to be the worst. The first bit it goes down your throat is the real gaggy bit. Just try and breathe through your nose.
Are you meant to swallow it?
Huh?
Can't they get better equipment?
Well, no, but that's what they need. They need this camera needs basically what it needs. It needs to be a camera, but also has to have a tube.
How come you can buy a camera online for like fucking, you know, them spy cameras?
But this one, it also needs to be a tube. That
Not that bore.
They need to send down another tube that's got the operating bits that they can actually do stuff. They had to take biopsies from all along the way.
Okay.
So the camera's got to be the camera,
not
a
questioning
light,
their technology,
and basically the operating.
But are you
thing.
swallowing it?
Yeah.
So you actually you have to.
As it goes down, you're swallowing. As it goes into your stomach, and that bit, and then you'll do a few times. You do a big old.
Your gag reflex is pretty good, I've heard.
Oh, mate, it turns out it's all right. Because once it got in there, but that first bit, I'm going to say 1 minute of it getting right in there, and the bits there to stop a couple of times along the way to take a biopsy, which is I was watching on the screen as they were doing it. I said,
So they're
"Can I watch?"
taking little like samples from the lining and stuff.
The little tube goes down and it comes out, and you can see it on the camera. Obviously, it's massively magnified.
Yeah.
A little sort of pincer finger, and they go up to the wall of your.
Were you watching it?
I was watching the screen.
While it's in your fucking throat.
Yeah, and it literally just pinches and pulls a bit of your.
I'd be
skin
general
off.
anaesthetic.
And there's blood. You see the blood come out, and then they went right. That comes back in. Then you watch it go down, and that bit was like for about a minute. But once it was in my stomach, I was absolutely fine. Once it was in
There's
there,
no nerves in there.
I just got into the breathing of like just nice breathing and relax. And the whole time they were in there was absolutely fine. And then the coming out is bad. The colonoscopy I found way more uncomfortable.
Yeah.
In your batty,
Yeah, even though it's a much smaller camera.
That one sounds like
But it's got so much further to go. And they had to keep, it's horrible, they had to keep blowing air up your ass.
Stop it,
So
you
like-
lot. Pack it in back there, you... What are you like?
Water and air.
Actually blowing it in from their mouth.
Well, yeah.
Just water pistols.
But it's
Blowing air and water?
I blow the air to increase the width of the colon. So
crazy lot back there.
And it sprays water to just clear the way.
So you weren't sedated for that either?
No, I was.
I was sedated for that. Not
Right.
completely sedated. That one where you're sort of
Couple of roofies.
They gave me gas and air if I wanted to have a honk on the old one, but like pregnant ladies had. I had a few honks.
Yeah.
I'd be
but
all over that
That
gas
does
and air,
nothing though,
man.
man.
So what happened with me is they did it, and they were sort of they gave me the thing to knock me out, and then I had this panic because I thought they were going to do it without me being knocked out.
Yeah.
And they were just about to do it, and then I was out. But then I woke up during.
Yeah.
And it was like cramps.
It's horrible. Yeah.
Yeah, like your stomach's
really
trying to digest
uncomfortable.
not your stomach, but yeah, it's horrible. And I could see the screen. But
Yeah.
then they gave me the gas and air, and then I was out of it.
Yeah, I watched the whole thing. Literally the whole. Like, and the first, it took about. I reckon the stomach one through that way took about 8 to 10 minutes. I think the colonoscopy was about 15. And that 15 minutes was it felt so much longer than the stomach one. Like, and it was. I found that harder to watch because your colon isn't as pleasant as your stomach. Although the thing you have to take. So the day before you have to take 2 doses. Oh no, you took a dose the night before, dose in the morning of this colon cleanser. And I've never had anything like it. It is fucking chaos.
I only had 1 dose.
Okay.
But do you have to clear your stomach as well?
So I had to do everything.
You can't eat like.
So I had to fast from the day before lunchtime. I had like an early lunch.
Didn't that was Ramadan.
And then fasted all day and then right through to the lunchtime yesterday. But the thing is, I'm an idiot. So I'd cancelled my gig on both nights, right? Obviously, because I thought if I'm fasting and I'm also got to do this colon cleanser at dinner time, I might feel a bit out of it. Dinner time, I got a gig right up the road from me in Tooting, and had a last minute dropout. They'd lost their headliner, and I was like, "Oh man, I'm literally a 10-minute walk away."
Yeah.
I said, "Look, I'll do it, man. I'm not on stage till 9." So I drank the juice.
Oh no!
I drank the juice at 5:30 p.m. Right, and because it says on it, within an hour you're going to clear your bowels.
Oh yeah, but it goes for ages,
mate. Mine didn't kick in for 2 hours, right? So I've got to head off to the gig at
It's
8.
a laxative,
Yeah,
basically.
8:15. I've got to head to the gig.
It's the worst.
7:45. I've still not got it happening. So I've got to head off in half an hour and nothing's happening.
No,
I'm getting crampy.
You can't do that. You can't,
mate. I
can't.
sung 10 to 8. So I was planning on leaving at 8, but I thought if I walk it, I'll set off at 15:15.
That's so funny.
10 to 8, I went into my toilet, and I've never felt anything like it. Your arse basically opens, and it's like somebody's thrown a bucket out of a window, man. Just like, like you're just holding on.
And by the end of it, you feel like your asshole's come out.
Oh mate,
And-
you feel like
yeah.
everything ever has
Yeah.
come out of you. But that's only the start as well. More comes.
I think that's
Yeah,
quite.
yeah,
I don't.
yeah.
It sounds
It's-
all right to me, but I've not experienced.
Well, do you know what?
No,
If-
you
You feel all.
But once
good
it's
and
but
clean
once it
after.
started, I did feel good afterwards.
yeah,
Like,
'cause
that cleansing,
you're light,
man.
aren't you?
I weighed myself after the morning one yesterday. So the morning I did
4
another
stone
one.
of shit.
Mate, I'd weighed myself after. So I'd done the 2 doses now.
Yeah.
Like I've not eaten for 24 hours. I'm now nil by mouth, so I wasn't even drinking for a few hours
Who's
before
Neil?
it. and I was like, I was 4 kilograms lighter than I was 2 days ago.
It's a lot
Yeah.
of shit, man. You're full of.
Yeah,
Yeah,
full of
full
shit,
of shit.
literally full of shit. But fuck, man, but I
Yeah,
felt
yeah,
amazing.
yeah,
Like I
yeah.
felt when I went to do it. That
Does
after-
it take stuff out of your belly that maybe wouldn't come out?
Well, no, but it's just
You know, like
things-
there's stuff stuck in there
But
apparently.
your colon,
Oh.
like your
But they do
colon's
that thing where
long and
they-
stuff is sort of
So it
takes
cleans
a while.
it nicely.
It's like a colonic
Why don't we just do
irrigation.
that once a year then?
Colonic irrigation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I booked one of them actually, but
You should do
I
it.
swapped it for a facial at the same place.
What, someone wanking on your face.
Yeah, I
Sounds
was
like a good
gonna
swab actually.
I was gonna do that, but I just didn't in the end.
I don't think I'd do it.
I think I would now after this. I
Really?
felt so great afterwards.
Yeah.
like
I-
I genuinely feel.
I've got to
cleaned
do it
out.
again soon
Oh really?
because
What- what's going on?
I've got Crohn's. So you.
Oh, have you?
So I had that
I've heard
10
of
years.
Crohn's
I got
quite.
it 10 years ago.
What is it exactly?
You don't deal with
It's
fibre
it's
very well.
inflammation. No, it's yeah, that's true. It's inflammation of the bowel, basically. It's like an inflammation disease. Luckily, mine's, touch wood, hasn't really given me much trouble. It all comes through stress.
Yes.
So it
Stress
actually,
and
it
booze
actually,
are bad, too bad.
Oh, I
things
don't
for it.
drink, so I
How
stopped
long haven't you
drinking
drunk for?
about 8 years.
Oh, really? That's good.
Yeah, so
You don't smoke, don't drink,
no,
still work
it's
out.
really boring.
Do you eat
but-
healthy?
Try to, but that's probably what my.
But do you have to
worst
eat a
thing.
low fibre diet?
Only if it's flaring up.
Okay, yeah.
So, but it's weird because when it's flaring up, you can't eat vegetables or anything
Yeah, I
like
know,
that.
that's-
It's,
so
it's a weird.
for the 3 days before mine, I had to go on a low
Yeah.
fibre diet.
Yeah.
And what that taught me is my diet is about 90% fibre.
Yeah, yeah.
Because I eat so much fruit, so much veg. I mean, lentils,
Oh, yeah, 'cause
legumes.
Oh, this is what I was
all
going
of
to say
that.
because I watched that Simon Amstel documentary, that sort of mockumentary
Oh, yeah.
thing, and I really liked it. And I was like, well, I actually don't think I could be
No,
vegan
I don't-
because there would be I wouldn't be able to eat anything.
Yeah, basically, like for 3 days in the run up to it, they said you've got to eat a low fibre diet. And if you're basically, it meant all I could eat was white bread.
Yeah.
Or I was eating sourdough, which is sort of the halfway house.
Like fast digesting, isn't
Fast
it?
digesting.
White rice.
White bread, white rice, pasta, loads of tofu, loads of tempeh. So the protein stuff I was just getting from tofu and tempeh rather than normally it's a mix of tofu, tempeh, loads of beans, legumes, and all that stuff.
Yeah, and chicken.
So but it was hard. That 3 days was really hard.
Yeah, yeah.
I ate so much fruit and veg with throughout the
And that's
day.
your energy as well.
Yeah, so I just felt a bit fucking shit for a few days, and it was funny then doing the cleanse suddenly made me go like, oh shit, actually
Yeah.
now I feel clear and good.
Should I tell you what's weird with when I realised what it was that brings it on? It first came on when I was writing my first Edinburgh show,
Yeah.
and then it
So
came.
stress probably.
Yeah, oh no, yeah,
brought it
100%.
on.
But I didn't know at the time that's what it was.
Yeah.
And then it came on again really bad before my second Edinburgh show. And I look back at the video of me doing that show. I'm so skinny
Right,
because
yeah.
I hadn't gone to I just assumed it was going to sort itself out, and I lost so much weight. It was quite scary because you don't realise you're losing all that weight.
That can be alarm bells as well,
Yeah.
losing weight dramatically.
Yeah.
And then I did this other thing just shortly after that, which was like a pilot for ITV, and I was starting to feel that it was coming on again.
Yeah.
And then I just twigged, it's like it's stress.
Yes.
And then since then, I just that pain is not worth it. So I've sort of trained myself to be really chilled, and I haven't touched wood. I haven't had any trouble
That's
since.
good.
That's good then.
I
isn't
have
it?
tablets and stuff, but,
Yeah.
but it hasn't flared up.
Oh, I did when he's finishing up with my colonoscopy. He said he noticed a bit of inflammation at the top of my colon, and then basically it's like gastritis is a thing.
Yeah.
It was very mild, but he just said to me like, it's strange, like he goes, do you drink a lot
How
of
did
alcohol?
cum get that far? Have you got his number?
But he said to me, he goes, do you drink a lot of alcohol? And I said, well, normally I don't. But I said, I've just got back from the Edinburgh
What
Fringe.
the fuck are you accusing?
But I said to him, like, I totally
You
honest.
mind your fucking business.
But I said to him, I went, look, man, like, I don't normally drink a lot of alcohol. You know, I have the odd social drink. But I said, I've just got back from the Edinburgh Fringe. So I drank beer 26 days in a row.
Yeah.
And he literally was looking at it and he went, yeah, I'll do it.
It's weird. They said I could drink alcohol, but then in my head I was like, because Crohn's can get really, really bad.
Yeah.
And I don't want to get to that point and go, oh, maybe I should have stopped drinking.
Yeah.
So I just went, I'll go clean.
very
And I haven't,
responsible.
and it hasn't, so maybe that has helped because I haven't had
Yeah.
anything bad since
You're
then.
probably healthier because of that diagnosis than not, maybe, do you
Yeah,
think?
maybe, yeah.
Because you've like looked after yourself more than you may have before.
And everything, like I just realised that drink really stunts your life in like development.
It's definitely nothing good about it from a health wise.
Not health-wise.
Yeah,
I
but
really
even
like
also
it.
career-wise.
Flip out.
Yeah.
Gotta let go of my lapels.
fucking pussy holes. No, but I mean,
I
like-
do think there's a benefit to it, as in you can kind of, if you can do it responsibly,
Yes.
there's definitely like a benefit to it, no
yeah,
doubt.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Get jittery. But I found that like creativity and stuff, I could be like if my brain's clear.
Yes.
Like hangovers, I have hangovers.
It
for a
writes
couple
it
of
off,
days
man. Yeah.
And so like I could turn over material quicker and
Yeah.
my focus was more on.
What's
Yes.
your
The
writing
career.
process?
I don't sit down and write unless I've got the ideas. So
Yeah,
I go
yeah,
around
yeah.
and I kind of pick up wordplay, and then once I've got like 10, I'll sit down.
So your
and
antenna's
craft.
always out through the day
Not
and stuff.
always.
Yeah.
I've got to be in the right frame of
Yeah.
mind.
But are you someone who can sit and write, or
No.
are you somebody who's on
No,
the move?
me sitting and writing is when I'm crafting.
Yes.
Yes.
So I've got the idea.
And do you
I'm trying to
set
work out
aside?
how
Are you
to-
quite disciplined with the crafting, the admin-y side of it?
Yeah, I'll go and once I've got 10.
What,
in
and
my
you sit at a
phone,
desk with a
sit
pen
in
and
a
paper?
cafe, yeah, and just sort of work out.
You know how writing
Yeah,
works.
yeah.
It's interesting to people, though, isn't it? This kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Although you could tell someone like your writing process is, it's all so individual, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
You can't really learn much from someone else's process.
No.
It's just about doing it.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Finding how your brain
Yeah.
works, basically.
Yeah, exactly.
But I find going over my old stuff.
Yeah.
So when I was new, I had good ideas, but I didn't know
Yes.
how. Back then, I didn't know how to put them into
Yeah,
something that would
yeah.
work. So
Yeah.
I've got quite a few jokes in my new show that maybe it could be 10 years old. That the idea.
Yeah.
And then I just worked out how to do it.
I
now.
had 2 bits in this show this year that were old bits that I
Of
did for a
Mark's.
period of time that never really flew.
Yeah.
They were like funny little stories, but I just didn't know
Yeah.
what I was doing with them. And then in
They
this
still
show,
didn't flow.
they found a context and they were longer, and I just
Yeah.
told them better.
Yeah.
And they were really
they
funny.
didn't fly for longer now.
So I've got
I'm just much better at dying for long periods. now.
I had a bit in my show this year that I've been working on for 3 years. I knew the joke. I won't tell you the joke because it's going to be in the new show, but the concept, the way it worked, it's exactly the same wording. It went from no laughs to a big laugh. And what it is, I realised it's how I delivered the punchline.
Yeah.
So in the original version, I delivered it quite camp. I was like, ooh, like this.
Yeah.
And the other version, I do it serious, the new version. And what I realised was, in the first version, my character in the joke knew it was a joke in the interaction. Whereas the other version, he didn't know it was a joke. He's he's the idiot.
Yeah.
And that works. And it literally went from nothing to big
I know
laugh.
exactly what you mean with stuff like that. Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
it can be an old joke can stop working. You're like, why ain't it working? You're
Yeah.
like, oh, I just didn't do that. Like, and this feels so, but it's all made. It's like a little equation. Every bit
yeah.
has to be perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean? Because you're really dealing with people's subconscious.
It's like, and sometimes it's just like adding, because a lot of people with one-liners, they think it's shorter the better. But sometimes it's adding a bit in the middle for the rhythm.
You need,
Yeah.
if it doesn't add, it subtracts. But
Yeah.
you know, you need.
So
if
like-
it makes it better, it needs to be there. Yeah.
So I was asked to write a Christmas cracker joke for a charity thing.
Yeah.
And so I had the joke, which was originally, I wrote it, was I had a nightmare. I was trapped in a snow globe. I was a bit shaken up.
Yeah.
That rhythmically isn't very good. So now, so from no laugh to big laugh, I now say I had a nightmare. I was trapped in a snow globe. I wasn't scared, just a bit shaken up.
Yeah.
So rhythmically, it's so much nicer, and it
It
gets,
just gives
that
you a
really
bit
works
of a
now.
pause between
Yeah,
the setup
yeah.
and the
Whereas
punchline.
when
I could
started
see how that
comedy,
works better. Yeah.
I was kind of told, shorter, as short as possible. But that beat really
But
helps.
when they say short as possible as well, people misunderstand that. It just means, if it doesn't add anything
fat.
to it,
it
takes something away from it. But that is adding something to it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Let's see what we've got. Some questions about stuff like this, but let's just work through. I've not.
Is your
There's one
Patreon?
just nice comment from Derek. Says he's seen Mark twice in 2 years at the Fringe. Love the way he welcomes the audience in individually, and the way he explains the construction of his jokes in the work in progress. He's one of my favourite comedians.
That's how Mark gets laid.
Can he send me a picture of his dick? No. So you welcome them in.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
nice. I've done that in a couple of shows, and it's quite fun.
He was really friendly with my daughter. She really appreciated that. Really took the time.
Show her around the green room afterwards.
She was really interested to see behind the curtain and his writing process.
Yeah, I kind of discovered that, like, probably about 6 years ago in Edinburgh. Like, I found that when you go up cold,
Yeah.
they have to. There's a process where they have to decide: do they like you? Do they think you're funny and take you in?
Yeah.
Whereas if you welcome them in,
So
and
true.
you're you.
Yeah.
They initially, actually, I first discovered it when I flyered. I used to flyer.
Yeah.
So when
It does help if you have a good flyering time.
Yeah.
And you meet them. Yeah, I can see
Yeah,
that.
and if they come off of you flyering them because you've chatted to them,
Yeah.
they like you already. So it's
You
almost like
you
you're
don't
famous
flyer
Yeah,
anymore.
in that sense.
You don't
I
fly.
don't fly anymore.
Because it is a benefit to flyering, but it's also a hassle, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm lucky now that I don't really need to do it so much because people come off of
Yeah,
social
yeah,
media
yeah.
and stuff.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
that's
yeah.
almost, they know who I am when they already kind of, they know what I do. So they
So that kind of helps with the rapport already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I find with welcome them in, it does just settle them, and
Yeah.
they like, they've seen you, they're not anxious.
Yeah.
You sit them down.
I've
And
done
it
it
also
in
helps get them to
when
the
I've done
front
the
as well.
yurts.
Yeah.
The yurt and the buses. I was in the rooms because they're so
Yeah.
small, like, and it's nice to chat. But also, it wasn't like you were in, I don't think, this year, where I didn't realise. I didn't at any point during the Fringe. I didn't realise where my queue queued up in the courtyard, and then but I didn't. So there was a little bar next to it. So one night I was getting a pre-show pint to take on stage. I went up to the bar and I saw two people I know standing on just the other side of the bar. So I stopped and started chatting to them. And then I looked behind them, and it turns out it was my queue. So I'm suddenly in the front
You're
of
in
my
the
own
queue.
Yeah.
just having a chat with a pint.
They're like, has he
This
not
is fun,
got?
this sounds
Has he
fun.
not got a room this year?
I've heard this is good.
But it actually gave me an idea for, like, that'd be quite a funny thing
Yeah.
one year to just
Yeah,
be in your
just
own
wander
queue.
about.
You could be in disguise.
Do it, but no, just do. I think there'd be something funny
know
for just
someone-
committing to it. Like, do your sound check and come out and get in the queue and just stand there and just
Just queue up as well.
yeah, walk in with them and just sit down.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
I think they
Do
like
the
that.
show from the seat.
Or just come on from the seat. It'd be funny. Your intro
Yeah.
music starts and you just get out the crowd and you're
I thought
on.
about
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
a show from London on a screen in Edinburgh.
I did a thing where I halfway through the show I went and sat in the audience and didn't explain why. I just sat there for a while, and then when I got up,
What, and spoke?
no, I just sat there, and then when I got up on stage, back on stage, it was just for a stupid joke where I'd say. I was told I should try some audience participation.
Yeah,
it's funny.
yeah.
So that kind of worked, but what happened was a few times drunk people just got up and to the
course.
mic
Yeah,
when I was
yeah.
when I was
And
sitting
you're in
down.
that seat like, oh,
And
shit.
I've literally got no
This is on
power.
me.
It's
This
really
at
hard
all.
to get someone off stage.
Oh,
Yeah.
man.
Like, how can you get them off stage?
Yeah.
And everyone else in the audience probably thinks this is part of
Oh,
it.
man.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
yeah.
you've built that rod for your own back there.
It's changing the game.
Let's see. We've got a question from Maria. Do women become invisible to young bucks after they have reached the age of 45?
Never seen a woman over 45.
Or is the older? Not that 45 is old, but I mean with much younger younger man. Is the older lady underrated?
I didn't pick up any
Do
of
they
that.
become invisible?
So-
Basically, the idea is, do women become invisible when they're over 45 to any man younger than them?
I think a lot. It depends on the man's
Depends what
taste,
you're
doesn't
into,
it?
innit?
Yeah.
I've never ever been in a relationship.
I mean,
I've actually one
Hannah's older than you,
short-term
is she?
relationship.
There's
Yeah,
whole
but I've never
genres on
been in
porn
one
for
with
this.
a younger.
Yeah.
Huh?
There's whole genres on, like,
That's true. Yeah.
There's a lot of guys
I've heard.
that
I've
like
always-
older
told me.
women.
I've always gone out of older women.
Have
in,
you?
in terms of relationship terms, and both marriages
I don't
are
think
older ladies.
What's the biggest older
I
gap?
never have.
My first wife was 5 years older than me, which isn't loads,
No.
but like, you know,
When you were 10.
We got together when I was 11. She'd just come of age.
I mean, traditionally, I guess in history, it's been the man older, isn't it?
Yeah,
I guess you know what I mean. Like problematically older,
Yes.
like Elvis Presley or
Yeah.
Carl Donnelly. You know what I mean? To throw out a couple.
I think in some US states, it's still weird, isn't it? That you can sort of marry cousins that are young. It's all weird shit.
Yeah,
innit?
yeah.
But like, I think. You're single? I know
Yeah.
What's your parameters on the dating scene?
Parameters.
How old are you?
As in, I am 39.
So what would be your upper and lower limit?
Oh,
So
goodness.
I mean, lower would be obviously
Upper
18.
would-
Be honest, Mark.
Upper would be probably. Upper is 35.
Would it be?
No.
But we've got a copy of your texts here, and you came here to meet.
This has been a massive
She
mistake.
said she was 16.
I'm open-minded. I guess
They
you
say
meet
the
person.
youngest you should do is half your age plus 7.
Yeah.
Is that the thing? Half your age.
I don't know who
plus
they are.
7.
So yours would be like 26.
Yeah, that sounds perfect.
I think.
Yes,
see,
please.
I think that sounds too young.
I
but like,
find it, I don't
depends
think
what
it's
you-
morally
I think-
too young, but I just think it.
I think it
it's
depends.
Just to the yeah.
If it's a relationship, that's probably too young. But if
Yeah.
it's just fun,
knocking boots.
fucking boots, that's all right.
Then
if you're just tearing them up.
knocking lumps out of each other. Get in there, mate. No, but I've always had this thing of like, maybe it's because I've always just been attracted to a slightly older lady.
Yeah.
But I've always found it creepy
Your
when
mum.
Did
older
you have a
guy.
thing? Did you have that? Was that your thing when you were like a teenager? Was like
I
your
just
mate's
have ne-
parents?
I mean, everyone fancied
Yeah.
their mate's
I always
mum,
fancied
didn't
everyone-
they?
my
Like,
mate's mums.
everyone had a
Yeah.
mate. whose
Irregardless
mum
of how they
was-
looked.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've always had this weird, like, if I've got mates who are single, my age, early to mid 40s, who still they'll just be like going on a date with somebody who's like 25. I'm like, you
Legend.
fucking- and I'm always like, that's weird, mate. To me, I cannot think of any positive in that.
Yeah.
I just think it's odd. But each to their own. If you want to be a creep, it's up to you, innit? But like, I've never understood it. I can't get my head around it.
My
Really?
dad always had women that were like well young, man. They'd
Yeah.
be like younger than my sister and stuff.
But I think it's more about, again, I suppose I like
Not like
Your little
noncy young.
sister.
Like,
my
they-
baby sister.
they were adults, but I mean, I always thought fair play. You know what I mean?
I'm open-minded with it. Like, it all depends on the person, right?
Yeah.
Nope.
Nonce.
No, so I agree. It's fine. Genuinely, each to their own. What else is going on in the old?
But I don't think older women are invisible. To answer the question, I don't think they are.
Yeah. Not,
I mean,
when, not when I'm around.
Yeah, there's a lot of older women that are really attractive.
Well, that's what you
like
started chatting in the group. You
Yeah,
were chatting
like-
about Jessica Lange.
Jessica Lange in American Horror Story
Absolute.
1
She's
or
like
2.
in her 60s.
Yeah, but in
Gorgeous.
2,
Really?
like
Have you
she's
seen Elle Macpherson? She's in the
Haven't
news
seen her,
recently
no.
because she's just got over a cancer. I can't remember which
Oh,
one.
yeah.
But she's 60 and she's still
I
absolutely
saw her in Sydney when I was there,
gorgeous.
actually, weirdly.
Yeah. So I mean,
So
there's-
would you 60? You'd happily go 60?
Yeah.
Elle Macpherson.
Elle Macpherson and Elle Macpherson
Yeah.
60.
And also,
I
who's the woman in
100%.
Dirty John? She's probably in her 60s.
Who's Dirty John?
Dirty John 1, the series.
It sounds like
Yeah.
It's a good. No, it's about a story. It's a good little drama, actually.
Okay.
It's on Netflix.
Right.
She's also in American Horror Story 1. She's the wife in it.
Oh, I know who you're talking about. Yes.
She's
She's really attractive.
yeah.
Yeah, got it going on, you know. What I mean?
Derek actually followed up on his
Give her
just
a
a
D down.
praising you. He said he's seen a bit of press about you winning the Joke of the Fringe Award. 2 questions. Has it brought you any interesting offers which haven't come his way before? Does he think it's his best joke? What was the joke again?
It's not
Can you
my
tell
best
us?
joke, no. But it's probably it's one of the best ones kind of written that's
Yes.
easily digestible.
But
I
your
suppose.
opinion of your best joke is you're gonna have
Well,
a different opinion
yeah.
too.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's always the way, though.
so-
Your opinion of your best joke is never going to be
And also
not
the-
what an audience thinks or anything.
Yeah.
So the ones on the list are never the ones that get the biggest laughs.
No.
So my favourite jokes are the ones that get the massive laughs, and they tend to be like take down the path and then cut back.
Yeah.
Like,
Yes.
but with
Very
with
Julian-esque.
these are just these are like wordplay jokes, and they're fun and they're nice in a set because you don't want to do all the same kind of jokes. You want to vary it.
Yeah.
But they've got it as well in writing. Jokes can look different. It can work on paper as
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
So where they're printing it,
Yes, that's what they're.
you know what I
looking
mean.
for.
There's a lot of those
Yeah.
factors, I guess.
So the joke is, I was going to sail around the globe in the world's smallest ship, but I bottled it.
Yeah.
and it's a nice.
That's
Yeah,
a nice.
yeah,
nice. I could
yeah.
see that being nice written down.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what
Not on
what they're looking
stage. You
for.
didn't.
No,
Right.
I would never do that on stage. Yeah,
Yeah.
No, that actually, I wrote that joke a long time ago. So that was when the judge came in to do it. I was doing the hobbies thing, and someone said sailing. So I went, "Oh, I've got a sailing joke from ages ago." So I did that.
So
one.
that wasn't planned.
So they
No,
did they,
no.
what, did, is this I said this joke of the fringe? So it's Dave's joke of the fringe.
Yeah, you and Dave, they've rebranded.
And do they have to see it live as well as written down?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it has to be, because what you'll see is a lot of newspapers print the best jokes of the festival,
Yes.
but they are PR send them.
Yeah, that's a
those
in
jokes.
advance.
So you
It's almost
didn't
like the
have
first
PR?
one.
I don't do PR.
Oh,
no.
that's good.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
no,
yeah.
that's why the Dave joke's probably a better one. Because
it's more
they,
legitimate, isn't it?
Yeah, they send sort of, I think like 8 critics go out,
Yeah.
and each show they just pick their favourite jokes.
I was chatting to somebody at a gig in the last week
Bet you were.
about how, like, in terms of newspaper coverage, the joke of the fringe now is the biggest
Yeah, yeah,
award in Edinburgh
Yeah,
by
yeah.
a mile, way bigger than the
Might be something
not
to do with
newspaper.
like.
way bigger than the comedy awards, all of that.
Yeah.
Like, they get no coverage in the mainstream
I've had
media.
people say to me, "Oh, you heard you won Edinburgh."
Yeah, of course.
And it's like, yes, I did
Yes, I
win
did,
Edinburgh.
Just say yeah, innit?
Yeah, but it's like, it's.
But I mean, you
that-
did win in Edinburgh or something,
Yeah,
so it's
yeah.
like
But that
no one actually wins Edinburgh anyway.
No.
You know what I mean?
But that day is
No,
crazy.
mate.
That day
Except for
when
me.
when
What?
You lose. Edinburgh.
the whole day.
I should get the loser of Edinburgh award.
The worst person at the fringe.
They should have that, shouldn't they?
Shittest comedian on the fringe.
Oh, they should
would
do
be
that.
funniest
That should
one.
be the biggest
I
award.
should we start it next year?
Yeah, we should.
Yeah.
We'll go around all.
Got to see loads of shit shows.
Who's that
Yeah.
guy? He was a journalist. He did comedies, moved to Cornwall. He was a really clever, funny guy.
No
I
idea.
forget his name, but he did like counter to reviews.
Right.
He would do like bad reviews of shows.
Yeah.
Oh God, what's his name? I think he runs a gig.
What does he?
You'll know him if I say him, yeah, but I can't remember.
But yeah.
But that day, it's nuts. Like I had to get up 7:00, and I was doing back-to-back interviews.
Yeah.
So it'd be like, okay, you're going to talk to BBC Radio Lancashire now, and now BBC Radio Norwich, and now you're on Sky News,
Yeah.
and then you're like, it's the whole day.
It's
It's like
massive.
constant, and they're all asking the same questions.
Yeah,
It's
of
all the
course.
same thing. They want you to tell the joke. It's actually what is interesting is sometimes you get the presenter saying the joke before they introduce you.
Yeah.
And it makes me realise how like skillful comedians are, because even a simple joke like that, no one said it right.
No.
Yeah.
It was all the intonation
Yeah,
is
of course.
wrong, and they deliver it like they're delivering a news
Yeah.
bulletin.
Yeah.
It's
But
really
it's amazing
interesting.
how that has happened.
That's
Like, and
their
I think
job
that's
though,
a
isn't
huge
it?
thing.
Mm.
Like, it's really interesting that even like I remember before I started comedy, I didn't know anything about the fringe, didn't know what a fringe was, but I still remember like seeing in a newspaper this year's Edinburgh, the Perrier winner, and like there was a thing like it did cross slightly into the mainstream. Whereas I think
Sean
now,
Hughes and
I
stuff.
remember reading
Yeah.
about Sean Hughes winning,
Yeah.
and
But I don't even know if they cover it anymore.
I don't know anyone that, like, you know, none of my mates like who are so out of comedy, they just got normal jobs, normal lives. They would know you from that winning
yeah,
that
yeah,
award,
yeah.
but they wouldn't have a
Translates
clue who
more,
won the
doesn't
other
it,
awards.
into news
But I
and
think-
publications
But
and
it's always the like top clicked article.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
so
yeah.
newspapers, they love it because
Yeah,
there's
of
so many
course.
people, and it's just people like reading jokes.
Yeah.
And they like being able to have an opinion on them. And like when you got a list of top 10,
And there'll obviously be comments with big
Yeah.
loads like, this is what bloody comedy is.
Yeah.
and you obviously. The beauty of comedy is everyone likes different things. So loads of people go, well, my favourite was 7, or my
Yeah,
favourite was this.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it makes people talk. And,
Yes.
and like the vote was like, I don't know how exactly, it's like 2,000 people vote, random people.
Oh, yeah.
And I think mine was like 40% or something, which
Nice.
meant, I mean, it's a solid amount,
is
but it
a
also
solid
means
win.
60%
Out of how
didn't
many
think that was
percent?
the best one. Do you know what I mean?
That was a good one. Right, let's do a couple more questions. How long have we been chatting for, Jason?
You've been going an hour.
Have we? Fuck me and the bumhole, like yesterday. Let's quickly do a couple.
you got a taste for it.
One more question then. Oh shit, man! I didn't.
Should we quickly
realise.
say Patch Hyde has got a fudge shop in.
Is that where you got it from?
Yeah, he gave
Sorry,
me.
I know you put it up. I didn't know that was where. He actually gave it. To
He
you.
gave it to me. He gave me like a load of it. Yeah,
That's
it's so
really
good.
tasty.
Greenwich Indoor
I haven't
Market.
had it.
Yeah. It's vegan fudge.
One quick question, just this. This is quite a fun question from Jagu. If the Olympics introduced the stand-up comedy category, which country would sit at the top of the medals table? Which performance-enhancing drugs would participants be prohibited from using? So, which country would be the top?
I don't know about drugs. There's no drugs that help, or everyone will be on it.
Shall I tell you what I think?
What?
Depends where the Olympics is. Because with an audience, it's all about the taste.
Absolutely.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if it's in America,
Neutral ground though.
America would,
neutral ground with a
people that don't speak
makeup.
English.
Yeah. It's got an exact makeup of the world in the audience.
Yeah.
So most of them don't speak English. No, I know what you mean. Yeah. Imagine
But
saying
if the audience was, I guess the audience is you though, isn't it? Like
I think it's America because
that's where it started.
because of Netflix.
Yeah.
And Netflix don't push British acts. They push American acts. So if you're talking about all around the world, most people only access American stand-up. So they will just think that's what it is.
True. Yeah, you're right.
That's a
And I
good
think
point.
the American ones have influenced a lot of, like, if you go to India now, the Indian scene is very influenced by America. Like,
Yeah.
I know some Indian comics.
Dubai is as well.
Yeah, so like, and I think a lot of countries, even Europe, like, there's a lot of them more American influence now.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was my taste, I would say.
You prefer English though, don't you?
I just prefer British and
British,
Irish.
same.
Like, my favourites, like, Billy Connolly, Scottish,
storyteller,
Tommy Tin and
yeah.
Irish. Like, all my favourite comedians in my entire life are all from this island. There's a couple that would maybe, like, Mitch Hedberg might sneak in my top.
Mine have always been American, yeah. I mean, Billy Connolly, Frank Skinner. There's a lot of great English, obviously.
Yeah. So, like, for me, that would be
Mark
the ones I'd want to
Simmons.
watch. But I think maybe you're right in terms
It's a
of
good question.
global.
Yeah.
Who's
good
winning
question,
the medals?
isn't it?
I think
Yeah.
But I
America
do find
might.
because there's so many American comics on Netflix, I do find they're quite similar.
Yeah.
That's what I'm
Do you
not.
know what
I'm
I
not
mean?
big on American
There
comedy.
is
I
a
find
few
it all
good
sounds
ones
the
that
same.
pop out
Yeah.
though. Like Shane
Yeah.
Gillis' special's good. I've watched about 10 minutes of it. But
Like Anthony Jeselnik, I think, is like such a good joke writer.
yeah.
I don't like to watch it. I like I mean, I think his
Yeah.
jokes are great, but I'm not into the style, that
Yeah,
American
yeah.
sort of slow
The
talking
arrogant thing.
It's not even arrogant. I just it's
Where
not-
Shane's a
I
bit
struggle.
more
I struggle
kind of
with
real,
American.
Yeah.
I struggle
Almost
with
like
the
a
American
young
accent.
Louis a bit, yeah.
Yeah, I just don't like American stuff.
Nate Bargatze, I like.
Yeah, I feel like they sort of turn the gear over so quick. I think that
or some of them. Yeah. Some of
Yeah.
the
I
big
like people that
ones.
are very different to me though, like Sebastian Maniscalco. Have you seen him?
No.
That's not
Ice.
that's not my sort of. I think I can see he's talented and funny, but it's not my thing at all.
Well, I
like.
thought like Sean would like him or something because he's like, but I don't know if he does. I don't
Sean's
think he
similar
did.
to me. I think in that sense, I think he grew up on the Irish and the Scots
Yeah,
and the
yeah.
Brits. and-
yeah.
That's right. We got to wrap
Punchy
it up.
stuff,
We got to
punchy
wrap it
stuff.
up.
Thanks for coming.
Flew
Mark.
by. Thanks
Thanks
for
to
coming
our
in, mate.
patrons.
And everyone
Pleasure.
go and follow
We
you
love
online.
you.
You're
I'm
pumping
on
stuff
tour.
out.
I'm on tour.
Oh, you are. You start
Yeah,
next month.
yeah. Still the same tour.
End of the month or next month?
Start next week.
Where can they
until the
find
end
out
of
about it?
marksimmons.co.uk.
If you like
marksimmons.co.uk. What's it called?
Quip Off the Mark.
Quip off
Oh,
the
I've
mark.
got to come up with a tour name for my next tour show. Do you find that hard?
Mark,
coming up
Mark
with
is a good pun name though, isn't it?
Do you think I
Yeah.
should go with Mark? Isn't that a bit too simple? Do you know what I mean? Like, is it
Yeah.
not? Maybe I should.
On your marks.
Well, no,
The
where'd you say
title
that?
isn't the most significant thing
Can
though.
we just ask your opinion of this?
Yeah.
So on your mark, get set, as in you're getting your set.
Yeah.
Show. On your
I
marks,
like
get
that. I
set,
like
show.
that. That's a nice.
That'd
Do you think
do.
that's good?
That's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like it.
It,
I
it
like
doesn't
it.
say it's one-liners though. That's the only thing.
No, but
true.
it also is got kind of a readiness to it, and
Yeah.
it's got an energy about it.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
like it.
On
Okay,
marks,
so-
get set, show.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right.
Alright.
Nice.
Do it.
There we go.
Thanks, everyone. We'll be back next week.
Next week.
Thanks, Jason, on the decks.
Thanks, Jason, on the
Creative
ones and
Kin
the twos.
Studios, mate.
Creative Kin SE18. Big up.
Yourselves. All right, take it easy. Bye.
Peace.